Hi everybody, welcome back to another segment of our virtual tour here at CARE. So we have 3 big boys here. And their nicknames are the babies. But they're not babies, they're big boys. They are about 14 years old. They're siblings. That is JP, and up there, that is Luca. And then this naughty one is Jakey. He's waiting for me to turn my back so he can jump at me, because that's what tigers do. So tigers, as well as most cats, are ambush predators, meaning that they like to sneak up on their prey. They like to get as close as possible and sneak up on their prey and attack. And in parts of India, where there have been tiger attacks on humans, people have learned to start wearing masks on the back of their heads to keep tigers from attacking them from behind. Because tigers like it when you turn your back. That is a rule of dealing with these big predators, is you never, ever, ever turn your back on them. So these boys, hi, they are super close. They actually had another sibling, a female. She was the only girl in the group, and her name was Luca. And unfortunately, Lucia was diagnosed with leukemia. And that was our first time experiencing a cat with leukemia. So she got very sick very fast, and we lost her last summer. And it was really sad for us, and it was really sad for the brothers, particularly JP over there. He had a really, really hard time with it. That's their big, huge platform for big, huge boys. As big as they are, she was not tiny by any means, but she was a lot smaller than the boys are. But we really miss her. Yeah, Cassie, we already talked about you, ma'am. So Cassie just has to say hi. Hi. Sass. I don't know if you can hear her purring all the way over there. Loudmouth. She's a mess. But anyway, these boys are pretty great. Very close. Tigers in the wild are typically solitary. They have been witnessed when a mother is taking care of cubs, or when she's by herself, to share meals with a male, but they don't typically hang around each other that much. They do their own thing. But in captivity, again, it's such a different situation. And we really like to keep siblings together, or introduce young cats that we get when they're young, so they can grow up together and live together, because that companionship can really do a lot for them mentally and emotionally, and even physically. They play, they snuggle together when it's cold, but sometimes those groupings don't work out. Sometimes they start to fight, and when it gets serious or it starts escalating over time, we usually make a choice to separate them, just because we want to protect them. But even then, we try to keep them near one another so they can still have companionship even if there's a fence in between. But these guys are pretty good. They get along really well. They have little tiffs, little arguments every now and then, but not often. And certainly not serious. I mean, they're like any brothers. They're gonna fight. They're gonna argue. They're gonna get on each other's nerves. Just like if you have siblings at home, sometimes you don't get along, but you still love one another, and they really do love each other. He's just gonna be cute now. Okay. Oh my gosh. Hi, Jakey. Hi, Jacob. Are you being precious now? That's how quickly they can change. 2 minutes ago, he was ready to pounce on me, and now he's just being that. And 2 minutes from now, he can want to pounce on me again. Tigers. It's just how they are. Ma'am, I'm gonna need you to keep it down over there. Yeah, we already talked about you though. We need to talk about other animals. You're not the only one here. I know you would like to be, but you're not. Yeah, I know. It sucks. Okay, so I'm hearing all kinds of rustling and jumping around and doing things over here. So it is time to say hello. I've got one. I got to find the other before I get closer. I don't want to be surprised. There's the other one. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Hi. Hi. Oh my gosh. So this is Max, the big one on his back, and Mia, the little one, being the boss. And they are two of our other bobcats. And they are playing. You can see those little tails going. So there is a definite difference between play and fighting. If you notice, they weren't making a whole lot of noises, although sometimes they do. But they weren't making a whole lot of noises. Their ears are up. Their tails are wiggly. They don't have their claws extended. They're just playing. If they were not playing, which they never, they're not violent with each other. Well, I mean, I guess they can be sometimes, but not bad. Not to where they get hurt. But if they were fighting, there'd be a lot of growling and hissing and snarling, and nails would be out and fur would be flying, and you would definitely know. But they love each other so much, and it makes us so happy that they are together. So Mia, this little one right here, Miss Mia, Mimi, hi. Oh my gosh, you're gonna try to get my phone. I have to be very careful around them because they have those little paws that can come out. And Mia's not so bad, but Max hates phones. Hates them. Has always hated them. I don't know why he wants to kill them. So I can't stick my phone, a camera up. He hates all cameras. Doesn't matter. I can't stick it up by him or else, whoa, he'll get it. You are a bad boy. So Mia took off. I don't know where she went. Anyway, Mia came to us. She was found on a construction site. A family found her, and she was by herself. Now, this happens a lot. Bobcat kittens are left by their mothers who go off and hunt. So if you ever come across a bobcat kitten, please leave it where it is. And this family did. They did the right thing. They left her there for 24 hours to see if her mother came back, and she didn't. So that usually is when an intervention is needed, when someone needs to do something. At the time, we were having awful flooding. And we think that the Trinity River, which runs in this area, it got so flooded and possibly cut off her mother from her. So after 24 hours, this family picked her up and took her home. And sweet little boy in the family built her a little cat house, and they were playing with her and feeding her cat food and snuggling with her, which sounds really sweet. But when they called us about 48 hours after they had found her, 48 to 72 hours, and we went to go pick her up, she was purring in their laps. That's how quick they can form an attachment to people. And once they form an attachment to people, they cannot be rehabbed and released, because the first thing that they're going to do when they go out into the wild is they're going to look for people, because people is where food is and warm bedding and all the good things. And it is legal here in Texas and in most of the United States to shoot bobcats. So a lot of people do not want bobcats coming into their yards because they're afraid of them getting their pets or attacking their children, which is reasonable. But that is why if a bobcat becomes bonded or habituated to people, let's see if I can do this without him noticing, they can't be released. So while what they did was trying to save her, and they were really trying to do a good thing, it also meant that she would have to spend the rest of her life in captivity. So she was teeny tiny when we got her. She was like 4 weeks old. I mean, she was little itty bitty. Then we got a call about a month or two later. We got a call from a private rescue that had found another bobcat kitten. He was a little bit older. No. I know, you want to get it so bad. I know. Man, bobcats. Feisty. So anyway, it was a male, young as well, a couple months older than Mia, and asked, or actually he had heard, the gentleman that owned this rescue facility had heard that we had a kitten, a bobcat kitten, and asked if we wanted the male to grow up with her. Again, the benefits of having animals live with others in captivity. So we were absolutely, totally excited that she could have a friend. And so that's when we got Max. So almost all of the animals here are captive born. And captive born animals, or cats, big cats, little cats even, if they are born in captivity and raised by people, they cannot be released into the wild. Wild cats spend up to 2 years learning from their mothers how to hunt and how to survive. And without that, they don't have the skills needed to take care of themselves. A little butt wiggle. So putting a captive born cat that, they have all the instincts that their wild counterparts do. They just don't have the know-how. They never learned the right and wrong way to do things from their mothers. So putting a captive born cat out in the wild is really not very nice. It's unethical. They wouldn't be able to take care of themselves. They would most likely die. Now, because the bobcats were born in captivity again, or they were born in the wild, there are very successful bobcat rehabilitation programs that rehab orphans and are able to release them in the wild. There's a lot of things to consider. They have to learn to hunt on their own in captivity, which can be a difficult thing, both logistically and ethically. And then you have to find the right place to release them. You can't just release them anywhere. You have to find land that has the resources that they need, water and a food source, so prey that they can hunt. It has to be free of other bobcats so that they're not competing with for those resources and coming into conflict with each other. It has to be remote enough where they're not going to come into contact with people very easily. And those spaces are pretty hard to find. But again, there's some really successful programs that do that. But again, because both of these bobcats, Max and Mia both, Max, his mother had been shot. And he was raised by, I believe, or not raised, but he was found and taken care of by, I believe, a game warden. And so both of them had way too much contact with people and had become way too used to people to be released. But the upside is that they have a really cool space here. They have all kinds of stuff to crawl in and jump on and go through and places to hide. And they have each other and they absolutely adore each other. And that makes us really happy. All right, bye, Max. Bye, Max. Bye, me. I see you. I see you. Oh my gosh. Munch! So this guy, his name, where'd he go? Is Munchie. There you are! That's short for Munchkin. Hi. Hi, mister. Oh my gosh. So you may notice something very different about Munchie here. Munchie is what is called a Golden Tabby or strawberry blonde tiger. He doesn't have any black. It gets really dark brown on the end of his tail, but there's no black stripes. So we talked about Solano being a white tiger earlier, and how that is caused by a recessive gene that was found to be naturally occurring in the wild in the Bengal subspecies. But this coloration is also caused by a recessive gene. However, as far as I know, there has never been any documented cases of a tiger with this coloration in the wild. That doesn't mean it didn't happen. Anything's possible, but I've never seen any documentation of it, which means that more than likely this coloring is caused by very selective breeding in captivity. Munchie is a really special guy. He just went in his lockdown area because he heard somebody, and he probably thinks that means treats or food. What's up? So Munchie's a super, super special guy. He is, first of all, in our eyes, in terms of how much we love him and how we take care of him, he is absolutely perfect in every way, and we could not love him any more than we do. But Munchie has problems. That he has both physical problems and emotional and mental issues. And one thing you can see right here is the curvature of his spine, and he is very thin. We are feeding him as often and as much as we can, but he's still very thin. To be very honest, we're very worried about him. I have another tiger complaining in the background that I'm not giving him attention, but we'll get to him in a while. But yeah, we're really worried. We are conferring with our veterinarian. We are trying different things, different medications. The next step is some testing, some imaging, doing x-rays. He will likely need surgery on his back. We're super concerned about that, but we also know there's probably something else going on, and we are doing what we can to find out what that is, because we don't want him to be uncomfortable and unhappy. And he's just a young guy. He's, I believe he's 4 years old, which in tigers and lions, they don't really fully reach maturity until they're about 4 years old. So he just recently became an adult. So he's very young. So we want to make sure that his life is long, and not just long, but really healthy. So we're going to do everything we can for him. Ain't that right, Munch? Yeah. He's a good boy. If you're familiar with Care, you know that his nickname is Strawberry Pancake. That is the name that our founder and executive director, Heidi Cron, calls him. There's a purpose behind it. She plays a game with him because he gets really upset with a lot of our vehicles. So our tractor, which we use to feed, when we feed them, we drop in food over the top of their enclosures from a tractor, the bucket of the tractor. He doesn't like our mule, which is a vehicle that we use to drive around and clean. He gets very angry when those vehicles are nearby. But our founder and executive director Heidi plays this game with him, Strawberry Pancake, where he flattens himself on the ground when he sees the vehicles coming, and she plays a game with him like she can't see him and he's totally invisible. And she does that baby talk with him, that high-pitched, oh, Munch, oh, strawberry pancake. I can't do it as well as she can. But it turns it into kind of a way to diffuse his anger, and he really responds to it. He enjoys it. He thinks it's fun. And it calms him down. So it turns what he is seeing as a negative experience. He does not like the vehicles. He is afraid of them, and therefore he gets aggressive and angry. It turns that negative experience into something positive. So then it's fun. It's enjoyable. So then he doesn't get as angry because he's not as scared. But he really is a good boy. Isn't that right, Munch? Isn't that right, Munch? All right. That does it for this segment of our virtual tour. Say goodbye to Munchie. As always, subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can get notified when we have a new segment up. Check out our website, learn more about the animals that you met, and follow our social media so you can keep up with all that's happening. And thank you guys for joining. Take care of yourselves. Be kind to others. And we'll see you next time.